The loss of farmland to developers and the loss of a young generation of farmers to the big city and salaried jobs are frequent headlines in the Heartland. We'll move now to the plains of Kansas, where developers aren't yet knocking at the door, but where one young man is putting in extraordinary hours to keep the family farm in his family's hands. Jason Schultz reports.
See, did you get that suction line for the vacuum meter?
Scott Sigel and his son Andrew are getting ready for spring planting on Andrew's land in north central Kansas.
I thought in high school I was going to farm, and that was going to be what I was going to do. I didn't really think too much about college or anything like that.
But getting started as a farmer these days takes a lot more than just desire. Andrew did go to college at Kansas State University, then took a job with an agricultural manufacturing firm not far from the family farm. He's not yet married, but he looks to the future and, in his heart of hearts, hopes to get back to the land.
Purchasing new equipment and buying ground was too expensive of a proposition for a young guy like Andrew. So like many farm families across the country, Andrew's father decided that renting some additional ground was the best way to get his son back to the farm.
I lived out here when I was young, and we moved to town, and I hated it. Come out here and you could go for miles any direction you wanted to, and it was just, I hope to be able to raise my kids the same way.
Andrew believes there's a future in agriculture. He still has a day job, but nights and weekends you'll find him working here on a small 140-acre plot of rented farmland that's become Andrew's start in farming.
I think all rural kids have a much stronger work ethic than those that grow up in town or even in a city do, because they had to work hard, and so they really appreciate what they have.
Andrew's small plot of land sits alongside the 1,400-acre Sigel family farm where his parents, Scott and Nadine, grow wheat, soybeans, and sorghum.
If I didn't have my parents, I wouldn't be here. Most of the guys I graduate with are getting jobs elsewhere until their parents or anybody else gets old enough that they want to quit doing it and turn stuff over. Me, I was lucky enough I was able to get an agricultural-based job in the area so I can still live out here and help out after work and do whatever I can.
The number of family-owned farms in Kansas has remained fairly steady over the past 15 years, but increasing prices for land and equipment often make it difficult for young farmers like Andrew to get a start.
In this game today, now more than ever, you know, you have to not only be somebody that knows how to drive a tractor or a swather, you have to know how to run a business. It's a tough road to hoe, and so we tried to, you know, show him that that's reality. You know, you have to be willing to do the work out here. You have to be willing to put in the hours. And frankly, you have to figure out how to be smarter than the next guy.
Oh, by the way, I'm in Texas next week. Wednesday through Friday. I'll be back early on Friday, I think. I travel a lot. One of my jobs is technical service work, going around installing our systems on electronic sow feeding for corporate hog farms.
Andrew's day job often means he works well into the evening on tasks around the farm, and he's not alone.
I work at a plant, and everybody in the plant works 6:30 to 2 or 6 to 2:30, and I don't know how many people out there they have to work in the plant in order to be able to support themselves out on their farm. They go in, they work their day there, and that puts money in their pocket, and then they go home and they take care of their farm. And there's a lot of guys that do that, and the only way they can go home and farm is if they do work in the plant there.
Farm organizations like the FFA and 4-H strive to give young people the skills and background to have a career in agriculture. Andrew was a 4-H member growing up, and his father knows how tough it is to get a start.
Well, I basically started with my dad and following my dad and my granddad around, and I worked off the farm for a lot of years and farmed in the evenings.
Andrew knows that farming is hard work, but he says he's ready for the commitment. His favorite thing? He likes the quiet of the country. His least favorite?
My least favorite thing? Some days it gets really hot and other days it gets really cold. And you gotta be out doing whatever you're doing no matter what.
Andrew's family has farmed this land for more than 100 years. Coming back to farm is important to him and his parents.
When you grow up with it, it just becomes a part of you, and it's something that you really don't ever want to let go of. The peace and solitude, the beauty that's out here, you can do so many things. There's so much freedom to it. And you always hope that you're able to keep it in the family. You know, that's one of your real dreams, is to be able to pass it on down to the next generation.